Welcome back to my channel, everyone. I hope na you're in good mood as of this moment because the topic that we're going to be discussing is something that you have mentioned as something of an interest because of yung because of yung survey natin, lumalabas that the topics on the business of influencing, the definition of not the definition, the future of influencer marketing in 2024, and why luxury brands and pageant don't necessarily mix well. Lahat yun you wanted to be tackled in this conversation for this live stream. I want to not maybe warn, but I want to apologize first that this live stream might look or sound like I am delivering a lecture, because there will be a lot of points that is going to be discussed that will sound corporate. So I apologize for that. If there is something that you don't understand in the terminology that I am using, please, comment a little bit later, because we will be discussing a lot of business lingo in this live stream. We will be dividing yung topic natin into 3 topics, because I want first to discuss with you yung concept nung marketing in terms of fashion influencers and luxury influencers. And then I will be discussing as well yung difference between the luxury goods market and how is it not a good fit when it comes to mixing with pageantry. And then we will, finalize yung ating discussion with a wrap up of all of these things that we've discussed, and to give us like a bird's eye view on fashion influencers, fashion influencing marketing, and how is pageantry not a good fit. The image of pageantry not a good fit when it comes to luxury brands. So that's what we're going to do, to be doing. Okay, so yung survey kasi natin on Instagram shows that there is an interest with when it comes to the business of influencer marketing, the business of luxury na market, plus the interest on pageantry. So because our channel is mostly geared towards pageantry, I want to give you an idea how the luxury good market is not as democratic as pageantry is. And I think that is something that we will be discussing, in depth in this live stream. So thank you very much for everyone who came in early. Thank you very much for your presence, and I do hope that you will have a open mind when we are discussing these concepts, because essentially what I am going to deliver to you is a college level na lecture on luxury goods and marketing. So medyo academic yung approach natin for this live stream. So I do hope na hindi kayo ma-bore with the explanations and the terminologies that I'll be using in throughout the live stream. Okay, so first let's open up muna yung ating discussion with one fact that I always discuss with my students, whether it's in iAcademy, whether it's in Sophia Design Institute, or in the University of the Philippines. I always open up yung discussion or yung dialogue with one simple fact and one simple reality in terms of the fashion business. Why we all love yung glamour, yung creativity, and yung very aspirational lifestyle with fashion. We have to be grounded with the reality that fashion is a business, and therefore, being a business, despite all of these, glamorous things that we see, that we experience on social media, on YouTube videos of these brands, we have to remember that as brands, as businesses, um, pretty much the bottom line is one of the most important aspects that we need to accept in the industry. Kasi kadalasan sa mga students, kadalasan sa mga mga taong pumapasok doon sa mundo ng fashion, they only see the, I don't know, maybe 20%, 10% na glamour of the industry, but they don't necessarily see the hard work, the amount of planning, the amount of logistics, the amount of material sourcing, the amount of marketing and advertising that is involved in the world of fashion. And I think that is one of those things that even the movies like The Devil Wears Prada does not necessarily show you, does not necessarily expose us to. Because the industry as a whole is a huge industry, because the fashion business is created or established in a way that it has a lot of adjacent na industries together. So nandyan yung logistics, yung transportation ng merchandise, ng raw materials from point of origin to the retail environments. You also have the farming industry and agriculture industry, because of course you have to grow cotton, you have to grow linen, you have to grow all of these crops that produce the fibers that the industry, milling industry used to weave textiles. So in terms of yung in terms of yung industry as a whole, the fashion industry that you see in magazines, in movies, that is just a very small portion of a large industry that is worth trillions of dollars. So when we discuss kasi the fashion industry, we need to know first how big it is. Hindi maaalis yun sa conversation natin, dahil we will always reference back to the industry being a business. So we have to realize at this point in time, before we move forward in this conversation, that the industry is built on profits. Okay? So unahin na muna natin yon. Okay? And I hope na when we move forward in this discussion, mas magiging open kayo with the conversations and the facts and the truth behind fashion. Okay? So, magkamustahan muna tayo, dahil ayokong umpisahan ito na hindi ko muna kayo kinukumusta. So, welcome to this live stream. The first na nag-comment, si Dear Future Kath, sabi niya, first, love listening to your free learning session. This is something that I usually give to my students, yung lecture na ito. In fact, this coming week and weeks rather, I will be discussing the luxury market sector with my classes. So, nataon na timing lang yung request ninyo, yung interest ninyo with this topic, because this is a topic that I will be delivering at school later on. Fleur de Lis, sabi niya, hello po, ang galing niyo pong mag-explain, I learned so much. Wala pa tayong nadidiscuss masyado, Fleur de Lis, so I do hope you stick with us in this live stream, dahil marami pa tayong pag-uusapan. We still have a lot of concepts that we will be discussing. Soliel, tama ba? Soliel Torres says, super educational niyo po. Thanks to one of Heart's fan page, I discovered you. Marami ding salamat din sa mga community ni Heart sa Instagram and sa TikTok and sa other social media platforms, because they gave us, the visibility that we needed. So I am grateful for that as well. Okay, Marcos Gutierrez, sabi niya, very informative in discussion. And Nobi Taladua says, gusto ko yung mga unpopular opinions and points. I try as much as possible when it comes to pageantry to give a perspective that is not being discussed, or a perspective from a different point of view, so that people will have something to discuss, something intelligent to dialogue on. So I do hope na it will not rub you off or it does not hindi kayo ma-turn off with that, because I think it's high time. I think the general populace is ready for mature and intelligent conversations. Okay, so I think we should begin. Okay, let's start first with defining what is influencer marketing. So McKinsey and Company, which is one of the best na companies when it comes to marketing and advertising industry. They do all these, lots of these industry reports, defines influencer marketing as a collaboration between popular social media users or accounts and brands to promote yung products and services ng brand. That is, the base na definition of influencer marketing. However, if we take influencer marketing at a deeper and dig deeper yung into the ano yung mga kinakailangan natin malaman about influencer marketing, it is essentially, kung we're going to simplify it, it is essentially having an account on social media that would help not influence. I think that word is not appropriate. No. I think the right word is accounts on social media that would inspire their audiences to have the kind of lifestyle or the products or the services that is being peddled on by the influencers, to have it on their own, to have it, to possess it on their own, to experience yung aspirational na lifestyle that the influencers are trying to, influence or to inspire us on. Because I think influence is a very powerful word, and it's a very heavy word that a lot of people tend to abuse. So I would rather use, inspire, because majority of us, when we follow influencers on social media, whether it's in TikTok, whether it's in Facebook, I don't think there's a lot of good influencers there. I think majority of the influencers or the influencer culture is within the Instagram sphere. Okay, so when we follow this in these accounts, whether it's a brand or whether it's a personality or an account, we consume their content because it inspires us. It gives us a good feeling. And kasama na doon sa good feeling na yun, yung ma-impluwensyahan yung buying and consumer habits natin, whether it is to, buy a bag, buy into a new service, for example, or give us information on there is a product that can alleviate a pain point on our end, whether it's, let's say, you're prone to acne, perhaps a beauty influencer would give you, tips or products that would help, minimize oil, the production of sebum in your face or in your skin, or give you mga treatments that, pag ginamit mo yung ganitong mask, mababawasan yung production ng oil in your face. So, it's effective on my end na ganito yung ginagawa. So, these are things that influencers do. They, inspire us to take action on certain things that we may need to purchase depending on their recommendations. So, I think that is, in essence, yung pinaka-heart and soul ng influencer marketing. And when we say influencer marketing, this is a very potent na marketing strategy for brands because, una sa lahat, mas madali tayong makumbinse kapag kakilala natin yung nagbibigay sa atin ng recommendation. So, if, we are a follower of, let's say, a social media influencer on the makeup, ganyan, na sphere, at sasabihin niya na yung bagong color palette ng Chanel or ng Dior would help hide yung mga imperfections, yung mga zits natin sa mukha and make it look like it's flat, then tawag na, suddenly may interest tayo na baka it might work on my skin. So, may mga ganung instances wherein we are convinced that a product is effective because of someone that we know, someone that we trust, tells us that these are something that worked on her or on him. So, because of the trust that is built with that account or with that personality, we now buy into the possibility na I might try this. And check it on myself. It works for me. And that is the power of, word of mouth marketing. So in essence, influencer marketing is possible, or rather is a offshoot of word of mouth marketing, because we trust these people or these personalities na gumagana sa kanila, so baka gagana din sa akin. Especially if, let's say, you have the same lifestyle, you have the same you have the same gumagalaw kayo within the same market of the industry. So, yun yung beauty ng influencer marketing. Yun yung power ng influencer marketing. Now, when we talk about influencer marketing, we also have to understand that there are tiers of influencers. Kumbaga, parang may rango yung mga yan. You have the mega influencers. These are the influencers na nasa milyon. Probably 1 million plus yung kanilang mga followers. And then, you have the macro influencers who typically have more than 500,000 na mga followers. So anyone like, let's say, sina Pia, sina Catriona, and of course, Heart Evangelista, who have like 13, 14, 15 million followers, they belong to that category of mega influencers. Now, these are very rarefied na influencer breed because not only do they have the reach, they also have the engagements, they also have the trust of their followers. That is why they are considered mega influencers. And when brands deal with mega influencers, malaking pera ang involved. So, malaking investment on the brands, whether it's Dior, whether it's Longchamp, whether it's Chanel, or any of the brands under LVMH, which is one of the 3 biggest conglomerates ng mga luxury brands, which I will explain later, okay? These brand partnerships allows huge investment on the brands. Okay? Nabanggit ko na kanina, there are also macro, M-A-C-R-O, macro influencers, which are typically your influencers na kalahating milyon pataas yung kanilang mga followers. There is the medium na influencers where naglalaro between 50,000 to 100,000 yung kanilang followers. And then, you also have your micro and nano influencers. If numbers ang pag-uusapan, I would probably fit into the micro influencer when it comes to the numbers, because the micro influencers would typically have around 10,000 to approximately around 50,000 in terms of followers. Anything below 10,000, that is what they call the nano influencers. Nowadays, there are studies that say that the effectivity rate ng mga micro influencers are much more potent than, let's say, the medium or macro influencers. However, that is, something that brands and smaller brands would have to see within themselves if the markets of this micro or macro influencers would fit yung kanilang brand profile, yung kanilang brand target. So it depends on the financial goals of each of these companies and these labels, whether or not they will partner with a macro or a micro or even a nano na influencers, because there are some niche brands, meaning pag sinabi kasing niche brands or niche market, these are very specific na mga markets na would cater on, let's say, a very small populace of an entire, what do you call this, entire market pie. And usually, kapag yung sinabi nating niche market, it can be as very specific as women, sorry, let's start with the product or service. Um, let's say it's a skincare brand that targets women within the 40 to 60 na age range that is more affluent or in the middle class, sabihin natin, middle class. And then they have a very limited budget when it comes to spending. So that is a very niche market as compared to targeting a populace of women from ages 18 to 60 plus. So that gives you an idea on how niche marketing works. Okay, and then on the business aspect, we need to understand as well that because of the effectivity rate of the influencer marketing, syempre dahil kapag kakilala mo kasi kapag nagmamarites kayo within a gossip session, sometimes you get invested when someone tells you that this kind of soap mas nakaka-tighten ng skin after after mong maligo, or mas nagiging glowing yung skin mo after you use it for a week, ganyan. So you buy into yung kanilang recommendation. And on a business perspective, that is a very important, that is a huge thing. That is a big motivation to buy. That is why yung influencer marketing has grown. Ito, influencer marketing pa lang ito, hindi pa ito yung luxury, okay? Yung influencer marketing, in the year 2016, the market for that is only about let me check my, nasa na aking notes there. In 2016, that market is 1.7 billion. Okay? But then, in 2022, 2 years back, suddenly, it has grown to 16.4. So, ang laki ng nilaktaw, ang laki ng growth on the influencing na marketing sphere. And that is why, suddenly, we have a lot of influencers that is very active on social media. Now, the thing here is, it is expected, according to a report by Forbes, that by 2024, by this year, the industry or the market is going to be around worth 24 billion in terms of market share. So, ganun siya kalaki. That is why in the previous live stream, I was telling you that in 2024, the influencer marketing na sphere is going to grow even more. More brands are going to invest on more influencers, whether it's fashion, whether it's lifestyle, whether it's accessories, and whatnot. Lalaki pa yung sphere ng influencer marketing. And this is why a lot of people are jumping into it dahil malaki ang kita, especially on the luxury end na market. Kapag sinabi mo kasing luxury, if you have a pyramid here, the luxury is typically the 10% on top. Ibig sabihin nito, ang liit nung market na yon. And this is, the reason why a lot of influencers are trying to break into the luxury end of the industry, because there are reports that you can charge from a 3-digit to a 6-digit per post on the luxury end. So ibig sabihin nito, if magpo-post ka ng isang IG story, pwede kang mag-charge ng 100 USD to, let's say, 500,000 for a actual post on your feed. So ganun siya kalaki. So now you understand why this industry is an industry that everyone wants a slice of. Siyempre, 'di ba? Isang post mo lang ganun na yung kalaki yung kinikita mo. Sino namang aayaw, right? And also, this is the negative side na nakikita ko with this industry is that you tagalugin ko na lang, can actually pwede kang mandaya on the taxes that you pay because of this industry dahil hindi siya regulated. Okay? So you can underdeclare taxes. And this is why integrity is important in this what do you call this? In this industry, in influencer marketing dahil pwede kang mag-underdeclare ng mga taxes mo when you file your taxes. And this is one of the things that the US there was a time kung saan yung mga US authorities, the Internal Revenue Services, the IRS ng US, hinahabol yung mga likes of Kendall Jenner, the Kardashians because there was instances na parang hindi nagmamatch yung tax paid versus yung kanilang income. Okay? I cannot explain this further because I have very little knowledge on yung kanilang tax system. But again, this is something that can happen or is happening in the industry. Okay? So now going back doon sa conversation natin about influencer marketing, there is in the same report ng Forbes, it says here that 92 of brands are intending to increase their marketing spend on influencers for this year. So ibig sabihin nito, they will be investing on more influencers like sina Hart, like sina Pia, because they know yung potency ng kanilang mga brands. If you remember yung post natin on social media, 22 posts under what you call this, under Heart garnered an EMV of $2 million, while 25 posts ni Pia on Instagram garnered her 2.95 million in EMV. So ibig sabihin nito, magpo-post sina Heart, sina Pia ng mga content nila on social media, yung EMV is the amount of money that the brand does not need to spend to get the eyeballs. So kabaligtaran siya nung sales na equivalent ng tawag nito ng posting. Instead of maggagasta sila, nakakatipid sila. When let's say Heart posts something on a product na gumalaw, like the Angel Nova na perfume, that is actual money earned by the brand. The EMV is the money saved na hindi kinakailangang gastahin ng mga brands. Okay? So, that's clear. So, because of this, more brands, especially on the luxury sector, is going to invest on influencers. Now, dito pumapasok yung conversation later on the effectivity ng mga influencers. Kasi syempre, kung mag-i-invest ako ng milyones on let's say Heart Evangelista to post, all of the content on LVMH, for example. And LVMH is one of the biggest luxury conglomerates. They own Dior, they own, of course, Louis Vuitton. They also own yung mga quiet luxury brands like Loro Piana, Brunello Cucinelli, and several other brands that suddenly nawawala sa aking mind. But they have at least maybe around 15 na international brands on their name. Okay? So, if LVMH, LVMH stand for Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy na brand. Okay? If Louis Vuitton is going to invest, let's say, millions on Heart Evangelista, and Heart Evangelista needs to create content for them, they want a return on investment at the end of the year. So they will be, reviewing yung numbers, yung effectivity rate niya. And one of the metrics that they're going to check on is yung what makes an influencer, effective. And there is this report by the Business of Fashion and Kinsey and Company, that says that 43% of consumers prefer relatable influencers. Ibig sabihin, they trust yung influencer na yun, in the sense that they can see themselves with these influencers, or they reflect something in their character that they see mirrored with that influencer. So that makes them relatable. 40% of consumers, they say, is preferring yung authenticity ng influencer. So that means that hindi siya put on, hindi siya fake, hindi siya for the clout lang. It needs to be authentic. Okay, yung feeling that they get when it comes to this, these influencers. Kasi if inauthentic yung nararamdaman nila with yung personal style or personal image ng influencer, mataturn off yung mga yan. And they will unfollow, they will not trust the brands that these inauthentic na mga influencers would peddle. Kumbaga parang mawawalan sila ng amor in essence. And then within that framework, there is also mentioned here that 37% of consumers prefer if influencers have inspiring and creative content. So yung they are being taken into the journey with the brand, for example. Yung pag nag-post siya about, let's say, ano bang magandang brand na pwedeng experience natin? Let's say, Armani Hotels. Because Armani, if you're not aware, Armani is a business that has haute couture. They have the Armani Privé for the haute couture. They also have hotels, which is, I think is something that is not as popular as their fashion line. So let's say if some celebrity or an influencer would post about yung how Armani hotels are so upscale, but at the same time very Italian yung feel, yung Dolce Vita, you experience yung Dolce Vita doon sa mga posts nila. That gives you a good feeling that maybe the next time that I go to Rome, I would book a hotel in Armani, or maybe kapag habang nasa Tuscany ako and I am looking at the wonderful colorful na mga villas doon sa hillside ng Tuscany. I want to wear the very relaxed and very very soft and very luxurious na mga Armani na mga damit, because suddenly you are being taken into a journey. Kumbaga, you're transported into that kind of lifestyle na parang because of these influencers, because of how creative they present their content, napupul ka into imagining yourself in that situation, and you suddenly are living vicariously through these influencers, because sabihin natin, we're just middle class. But because of yung experience nila, it suddenly feels like we are experiencing what these influencers are experiencing because they take us into that journey. And that is how, you get sold into that lifestyle, into their lifestyle as influencers. So that is, the reason why having inspirational and creative content is necessary for influencers, dahil that is how people would buy into you, buy into yung lifestyle that you are peddling. So that's the reason, one of the reasons kung bakit kapag nagre-review ang mga brands, ito yung mga tinitignan nila. Now, one of the lowest numbers that was indicated in the survey by BOF and Kinsey was that 15% of customers or consumers rather would prefer influencers if they have celebrity status. So ganun kababa. If you are going to look over what they prefer relatable influencers, they prefer authentic influencers, they prefer creative and inspiring influencers way more than celebrity status ng mga influencers na to. So that means that if you're a celebrity and then suddenly you're peddling fashion, when in your previous naman na iterations ng iyong social media, you are not actually very fashionable, then there will be fans na might not buy into what you're peddling, dahil bakit ngayon lang, anong sense na nagfa-fashion influencer ka bigla. So it has to be authentic. It has to be authentic yung feeling ng mga consumers on your content. Okay? So this is one of the things that that brands would have to look at in terms of yung kanilang mga hina-hire na mga influencers. And having creative inspiring content is something akin to having defined who your market is, what you stand for, and being an original. And in school, in iAcademy, we have this like malaking quote plastered doon sa hallways ng school, where it says that it's better to fail in originality than succeed in imitation. And this is why it's important that anyone who goes into the influencer sphere, they define for themselves who they are, what is their brand, what is their personality, what is their aesthetics, what is their fashion style, what kind of fashion do they peddle, and what is their market, in order for them to be successful in influencing. Dahil if, for example, you are, let's say, a goth girl, or let's say you're a skater girl, something like Avril Lavigne, and then suddenly you're peddling high-end luxury na mga brands like Prada, Bottega Veneta, there is a disconnect between your image as a skater girl and the brands that you are peddling. So hindi siya nagme-mesh ng maayos. Okay? And that is why there is, a really good argument here that in order for you to become effective, you need to define your brand first, and establish that and start communicating that para hindi magkaroon ng disconnect or na hindi magkaroon ng misalignment on your brand versus the market you're trying to capture. Okay, so it's something that needs to be thought of. Okay, let's pause muna for a bit. Medyo natutuyan na kasi ako ng lalamunan. So give me a second and balik tayo dun sa conversation na ito. Okay. Whew. Ayan. So, let's try to read some comments muna before we continue. Okay, so Liel Torres says, we are also grateful because you are genuinely serving information and points. Thank you. And then Flor Delay says, indeed, your previous videos change and will change future conversation about this entire feud. Honestly, we're done with that conversation. I am just, following through yung interest ng lahat with regards to influencer culture and luxury influencing. Now, ito yung mahirap na discussion because I think I need to break down muna sa inyo yung luxury market. Okay? So, unahin na muna natin kung in my previous live stream, the one when I discussed yung careers ni na Pia Wurtzbach, ni na Catriona Gray, at saka ni Hart on the fashion influencers. In that live stream, I discussed yung ano ba yung definition ng luxury. Ano ba yung mga pillars of the luxury goods na market. So just to review, okay? Yung 4 pillars ng luxury goods is let me just open my notes. Is yung 1 is yung superior quality, which means that it needs to be designed well to function. The second is it has to be aesthetically pleasing. So the design process needs to yield a product or a service that is very aesthetically pleasing, na yung design is really at the center, at the core of the production process of a piece of clothing, for example. And then you have 3, there has to be a sense of aspirational with the brand, with the product, with the service. Kumbaga, it allows you or it makes you dream that you are part of a exclusive na lifestyle, an aspirational lifestyle that not everybody can access, that not everybody can immediately grasp and take hold on. And then the 4th is that it has to have premium pricing, because the premium pricing is a reflection on the quality and timelessness of the product and the aspirational na lifestyle and feeling that goes along when you purchase that product. Kaya kapag bumili ka ng isang, let's say, a Chanel na cardigan, the classic Chanel cardigan, the boxy type, it would net you around $20,000 US, for example. Kung magpagawa ka ng, let's say, fully beaded na wedding gown, like the one that Hart wore for her vow renewals, the one with Elisab, I believe, that price, at that price point, would probably be around $100,000 US and up, higher. So that is, the 4 pillars of the haute couture and the luxury na market. It needs to be aspirational, it needs to be of timeless quality, it needs to be the focus on design and aesthetics is high, and then yung premium pricing. Those 4 things, lahat mahahanap mo in the luxury goods market. Now, luxury is about a lifestyle. And it's never about an object or a product or a service. So it's all about lifestyle. The outward projection of luxury is on the items, but it is more than the sum of its parts. Kumbaga, that is why luxury is not a product, but it's rather a feeling that you get with that product. Luxury is also associated with value, with high value, because The way that they weave the fabric could be, could be very labor intensive. The way that they do the embroideries on the, let's say, on the gown would take, I don't know, maybe around 30,000 hours to do. It probably takes, 15,000 hours to finish the entire garment, tapos another 10,000 hours just to do the embroidery, the beadwork, the feather work, and the artificial, the fabric flowers that you attach into the garment. So because of that intensive labor, the value of that item increases, and therefore it explains why the price point is high. Okay? And then we have to remember that luxury is not fast. It is not easily accessible. It is not easily something that you can purchase. Like for example, I'm a bride. Oh my God. I don't wanna. Okay, I'm gonna. This is a chismis territory. Okay. So let's put it into, an example. But again, this is chismis territory, okay? So back in the 2000s, when Rufa Gutierrez wanted to be married kay Ilmaz Vectas back then, it was rumored that she wanted a haute couture na gown from Valentino. Valentino Garavani, that's the full name nung designer, okay? Valentino is the apelyido, the last name, the surname. So when they booked an appointment with Valentino Garavani and the Valentino Atelier, meron siyang mga requests with the kind of gown that she wanted, okay? I have to remind you guys, if you're going to buy something from, let's say, a haute couture atelier, you cannot just go in, let's say, Rocambon or Avenue Montagne. Rocambon for Chanel, Avenue Montagne for Dior. You cannot just go there and demand na bumili ka ng outfit from them. No, you cannot do that. You need to have an appointment first. And you need to go through the premier vendors of the house before mabigyan ng appointment. That is, the way to buy couture. So you have an appointment. You book an appointment. You appear in that appointment. You discuss kung ano yung mga parameters that you want with your couture piece, and then they would get your measurements, and then they would create a fitting bust or a mannequin specifically for your body type and your body shape. Para kung pumayat, tumaba, nagkaroon ng changes sa katawan mo dahil, for example, kung nanganak ka, lumaki yung hips mo, they will make adjustment on that mannequin. And then, to reflect yung changes in your body. And then, once that nakuha na nila yung fit mo, ganyan, they will start doing the toile, which is yung parang temporary fabric just to check kung kaya yung structural integrity ng garment na papagawa mo, kung kinakailangan na may mga bones. Ito yung mga patigas sa mga corset, kung kinakailangan ng mga additional na mga interfacing ng lining doon sa certain parts of your design, of the garment design. Tapos, for example, if let's say you are living in New York and you cannot fly to Paris to do the fitting or the second fitting, yung vendors and yung main na mananahe will fly from Paris to do the fitting in New York, and then jot down the alterations and then fly back the garment into Paris kasi there is a requirement by the Federation Haute Couture Federation of the French Haute Couture Federation na ang rule nila is that anything, if you want to put the label of haute couture in your garment, lahat ng mga operations kinakailangan sa Paris mangyari, kinakailangan sa France mangyari. So hindi pwedeng tahiin yung mga adjustments ng haute couture piece mo sa New York. It needs to be flown back to Paris. That is, the exceptional service of the ateliers, the haute couture ateliers in Paris, because ultimately, pumayat tumaba ka, you can always have your garment returned to the atelier and have it, refitted para i-adjust yung measurements para magkasya ulit sa'yo yung binili mong garment. So, that's, the entire process ng tawag ito, ng haute couture. And honestly, there is a requirement din na you have to have at least minimum 2 fittings for that kind of service na binibigay ng mga haute couture ateliers. So now, let's now go back doon sa chika natin kay Mother Rufa. Okay? So apparently, Rufa wanted Valentino to create for her a gown for her wedding. But unfortunately, the time frame was too short kasi ang hiningi niya was only around 2 months or 3 months. And of course, because it's an haute couture piece, usually if ang hours that is required for the labor to do your haute couture na garment is around 10,000 to 30,000 hours of labor, manual labor, then definitely that would be a very short period to create that piece. So ang ending nito, Rufa had to have her her wedding gown created dito sa Pilipinas from one of the top designers natin during that time. I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was Joe Salazar or Ino Soto who made her gown. Wait, I think it was Charlene Gonzalez who had her gown with Joe Salazar. I think it's Ino Soto for Rufa. So I'm sorry if I bungled up the designers, but that's as far as I can remember. So with that being said, you now see how exclusive the luxury market is when it comes to servicing clients, when it comes to their market. And I am going to put in the comment section a link to a video documentary detailing yung how exclusive is this world. Because during that time when lumabas itong BBC documentary na ito, it's named The Secret World of Haute Couture. It was estimated that around 200 to 500 women all over the globe are the only ones who can afford haute couture garments. So, ganun kaliit yung market. And because of that, you now have an understanding on luxury good markets. Kung bakit ganun siya kaliit, bakit siya ganun ka-exclusive, which is in direct opposite of pageantry. Because while luxury is exclusive, it is reserved for the high-end na market, pageantry is inclusive. Okay? And when we say inclusive, this is where everybody is welcome. Pageantry, like the Miss Universe pageant na wala ng height requirements, wala ng age requirements, na ke single, married, pwedeng mag-join, ke may anak o wala, pwedeng mag-join. So that is how inclusive pageantry is. Again, in concept, you have luxury that is very exclusive, and then you have pageantry that is very inclusive. So it is in direct opposite of each other. And if we are going to interpret pageantry in terms of its market value, in terms of its entertainment value, pageantry is mass market entertainment. Okay, so ayan. masakit man tanggapin sa loob natin na hindi high-end ang pageants, we have to accept that reality because pageants is never targeted towards the higher echelons of society. They're not targeted towards the market that buys Maserati, that buys Porsche, that buys BMWs or Mercedes S-Class na mga cars. Pageantry is targeted towards the mass market segment of na audiences. Kumbaga, luxury goods is AB market, samantalang ang mass market na interpretation is actually the CDE na market. Ito yung sinasabi ko noong I am explaining that PIA's market is the FMCG na market, not the AB na market. So I think dito nagkaroon ng slight nagkaroon ng hurt feelings yung mga fans ni Pia because it's not that I am denigrating her and her followers. It's not that I am putting a downer on them, that I look down upon them. I am just trying to explain that the market of luxury goods, the market of luxury brands is a totally different market that is separate in ethos, in values, in spending habits as compared to the mass market na audiences of pageantry. And I think ito yung tingin ko nakasakit sa loob ng mga fans ni Pia to be called mass market. But then again, you have to remember that the mass market in terms of spending capacity as a whole market is equal to that of the upper echelons of the top percent of the luxury goods market. Ang diferensya lang is when you break down yung individual na spending capacity, talagang ibang-iba yung spending capacity ng mga mayayaman as compared to the mass market na audiences. So I think, the hurt feeling ng mga fans, ng mga pageant fans, came from that point of view. And I am sorry if I hurt your feelings, but this is the reality of luxury. Luxury is, how to say this, is exclusive. But it's not exclusionary. Unlike pageants, before all of this inclusion, it is exclusionary in practice. Kasi there was a time where you're not, black women are not allowed to compete in pageants. That there is a separate pageants for them. It was a 1960s na phenomenon when it just started to become more inclusive for black women to join pageants. While ang fashion industry, especially the luxury goods na market, if you cannot afford the high price point ng haute couture, you have the pret-a-porter, which is for those who are not in the know, pret-a-porter translates to roughly ready-to-wear market. Ito yung opposite ng pasadya, which is the haute couture. The how to say this? The pret-a-porter is a step lower. Pero price point wise, it's still high. And then if you're going to look at the market as a whole, you have haute couture at top, you have pret-a-porter here, and then you have masstige brands, and then you have the mass market brands. And dun sa pinaka-ilalim, ito yung mga ukay-ukay ninyo, ito yung yung mga value market na tinatawag. Okay? And high-end brands, luxury brands, have tiers. So, let's take into consideration, balik tayo dun sa example ni Armani. So, at the topmost na pinaka high level na clothes making for haute couture is you have Armani Privé. So ito yung mga pasadyang mga gowns, ito yung mga pasadyang made to measure na mga suits ng Armani. So it's way up here. Okay? Again, when we say high-end haute couture, it's haute couture for women, and we say bespoke for men. That's the terminology. So you have Armani Privé here, and then on the Pret-a-Porter na line, which is still within the luxury goods na sector, you have their several brands like Emporio Armani and Giorgio Armani for yung ready-to-wear na linya nila. And then, moving over to the masstige na level ng kanilang brands, you have AX or Armani Jeans or Armani Exchange at the masstige. It's not necessarily mass market, but it's more democratic in terms of price points as compared to, let's say, the price points of Armani Privé and Giorgio or Emporio Armani. But then again, di siya bumababa doon sa mass market na level. Ang branding ng what do you call this? Branding ng AX, ng Armani Exchange. And even other Italian brands, like for example, you have Versace. You have Atelier Versace. On top, you have Versace in the ready-to-wear. And then you also, well, not now, but before, they also had Versus. Ang Versus kasi, diniscontinue na ng Versace yung line na yun eh. So that is the, the hierarchy ng mga brands na yon. Hindi siya umaabot doon sa mass market talaga, hanggang masstige or mass prestige market lang yung binababa ng mga brands na ito. For other brands, like let's say Prada, you have Prada on top, and then Miu Miu is still within the same luxury goods na sector. Hindi siya bumababa ng masstige. For what else? I think another explanation for the masstige and the luxury end na brand is if you're familiar with Dolce & Gabbana. Before, separate ang Dolce & Gabbana with the D&G na brand. The D&G na brand is catered towards a younger market, pretty much like Versus. So you have D&G that is still pricey, but it is a little bit more democratic and liberal when it comes to its price points. You have D&G here, you have Dolce & Gabbana here, and then you have Dolce & Gabbana Alta Moda right at the top. So yun yung yun yung market ng luxury. Hindi siya bumababa doon sa mass market na level, which is unfortunately the market of the pageant. And this is also the reason why kapag tinitignan mo yung profile ng pageantry, pageants are highly democratized, very inclusive and accessible. And in pageants also, there is only one winner. And that is the opposite of the luxury markets, because there are many options in terms of brands and market niche. Let's say, for example, pag pinagtabi-tabi natin si Versace, si Chanel, si Dior, si Maison Margiela, you can see immediately that these are, tabi na rin natin si Fendi. You can see immediately that they are all luxury brands, okay? But they are catering doon sa different markets. You have, let's say, Fendi, that is very well known for its furs and its fur line, because that is, the Fendi is an Italian brand that is very much famous with tanneries and fur executions. So, alam mong yun yung image ng Fendi. And then you have Maison Margiela, which is a little bit offbeat, a little bit more artisanal in terms of its couture collections, in terms of its garment, which is again totally different from, let's say, Dior. Dior has a more, more French feel to it. It has a more, it's the quintessential na French brand that gives you drama in terms of the clothes. That is why kapag tinignan mo yung mga clothes from Monsieur Christian Dior in the 1940s to YSL to Marc Bohan to Gianfranco Ferré to John Galliano to Raf Simons to Maria Grazia Chiuri, there is something about the ornamentation and the silhouette ng Dior that really is very dramatic, which is very different from the profile ng Chanel. Ang Chanel, very boxy yung kanilang mga what do you call this? Yung kanilang mga silhouettes. And you would see yung embroidery nila because they own Lesage, which is the premier embroidery and beadwork na specialized fashion house in Paris that creates all of these really very enormously detailed na mga creations for Chanel. And again, ibang-iba yung people who can wear Chanel as to Dior. And then you have, let's say, Versace, which is very sexy, very outward. I am saying Versace in the 2000s, not yung latest, kasi yung latest medyo naging subdued na yung sexiness ng Versace. Okay? So, if naging tao itong mga brands na to, I would say that Versace would be Sofia Vergara. Chanel would be somebody like Audrey Hepburn, because yung payat na pahaba ang body structure, ganun yung perfect na body for Chanel. And then Dior would probably somebody like Margot Robbie na may curves ganyan and very dramatic yung flair, yung sense of style niya. So in terms of yung market, iba-iba yung siniserve ng luxury na mga brands, which is, if ikumpara natin with pageants, there is only one type of winner. Iisa lang yung pwedeng manalo doon sa entirety of the 80s, 70, for Miss World, 100 plus na mga candidates. Unlike with fashion, because there are so many brands that cater to different personalities, fashion types, fashion tribes. There is a brand for you. So, walang talo, kumbaga. And I think that kind of competition that a lot of pageant fans expect in pageantry does not happen in fashion. Kasi lahat ng mga types of personality, lahat ng mga types of, people have a market, have a brand that caters to them. So that is why, that is why pageantry and luxury markets are totally different and in opposition of each other. Okay? Also, if you haven't noticed, when it comes to pageantry, there is only one silhouette that works. It's the trumpet silhouette. Ito yung body hugging na hapit sa boobs, hapit sa waist, hapit sa hips, and then nagfe-flare doon sa hemline. And hindi nagbabago yung silhouette na yon. Lagyan mo man ng slit o hindi, yun at yun yung type of silhouette that works on pageantry. The Miss Colombia type of gowns that you see at Miss Universe, that is the formulaic na silhouette for pageants. Hindi nagbabago yung silhouette na yon from 1990s to the 2000s to the 2010s and apparently even in the 2020s. Dahil yun at yun yung nagwo-work. Yung gown ni Carolina Gomez in 1994, for example, kapag sinuot mo ngayon, it would still probably work for pageants. Unlike in what do you call this? Unlike in high fashion, na every season nagbabago yung silhouette. Sometimes bubble silhouette, sometimes top heavy, sometimes bottom heavy, sometimes oversized yung silhouette. Sometimes it's very the skinny na silhouette what works. Sometimes yung aesthetic ni Hedy Sliman na kapayatan yung nagwo-work with with the market, and sometimes it pendulums to the more boxy silhouettes that we see that is popular these days. So that is the difference between high fashion and pageantry. There is opposition with each other. Hindi sila hindi sila nag-merge, hindi naman sa hindi nag-merge, hindi sila in complete harmony with each other. And even if we look at the profile of haute couture brands who dresses pageant girls, hindi nalalayo na may beadwork na tad-tad ng embroidery at beadwork yung mga gowns na to. Take into consideration in 2014, when Yulia Alipova of Russia wore Elisab, and Diana Harkusha, who was second runner-up in Miss Universe 2014, wore a Zuhair Murad na haute couture na mga gowns. Pag tinignan ninyo, tad-tad ng embroideries yung mga gowns nila. So that is, why there is like a difference. That is why there is, an opposition between the pageantry na market and the haute couture na market and the luxury goods na market. They don't necessarily align or fit well with each other. And if you're going to look back at beauty pageants, another thing that is very opposite doon sa dynamics ng dalawang ito is that with beauty pageant, beauty is celebrated. Ganda ng face. Most of the time, that is the main selling point of beauty pageants. They select winners that are facially gorgeous. On the other hand, with fashion, authenticity and personality matters most. That is why you would see personalities like Isabella Blow, personalities like Iris Apfel, sumalangit nawa, who are not your typically pretty na mga girls, but when it comes to their sense of style, they are originals. They defy yung perception natin of beauty. Imagine Iris Apfel started modeling at her 90s. And she is represented, I believe, by one of the biggest na mga modeling agencies in New York during her when she was 90s, mga 10 years back. So you can see now yung disparity and yung very contrasting na attitudes, contrasting na principles ng pageantry and fashion. They don't really merge well together. They don't really have commonality in terms of the market that they share. So I do hope na with this explanation, mas naliwanagan tayo. We are more enlightened and open that especially some fans, to be open-minded with the criticism when we say that the luxury goods market is not the same as the pageantry market. They are in opposition of each other in terms of affluency, in terms of ability to spend, in terms of the capacity to purchase these luxury goods items. Again, this is not a slight on certain influencers, but rather an explanation so that we understand more rather than we understand less and then we go rant about it on social media. Okay, so let's get a little bit more insights from you guys, mga comments ninyo. Ooh. Okay. Nasaan na yon? Nasaan na ba nag-end? Okay, Solier, parang mas magandang banggitin as Solier Torres says, we are also grateful because you are genuinely serving information and points. Fleur de Lis says, indeed, your previous videos changed and will change future conversations about this entire feud. Yel Cabs, sabi niya, hi Sir Jason. Hi Yel, I hope you enjoyed our live stream discussion. User says, this talk is too materialistic for me. Okay, there is a sort of validity to that because, again, fashion as a business, it's about consumption. The thing is, we can be ethically consumers. We can have ethical consumption in practice. But if you are thinking that fashion is all about creativity only, then you're gravely mistaken and severely misinformed because at the end of the day, the fashion industry is a business. And the earlier that you accept that, the faster that you accept that, the better for you. Because ultimately, ang titignan ng mga brands is their bottom line. If you are effective in terms of influencer, as an influencer. Dahil, why would they continuously spend for you if, you don't bring value back into the brand? Diba? So, yes, it's materialistic, but we all need money to survive, to live, to be happy to a certain degree. We have to buy food, we have to buy necessities, and what a lot of people think about the fashion world is that it's a materialistic na world. We get that, we in the industry get that criticism, we understand that criticism, but you don't know the amount of work that fashion industry people put into it. You only see the 10%, the 20% glam thing that you see on social media, on online na mga websites, but you don't see the 80% of the blood, sweat, and tears that we invest into making fashion. You have no idea about fashion forecasting, how we are able to look forward in the future 5 years from now and give you what is the color for 2030, for the color for 2025 and beyond, because there is research, market research that goes heavily into it. So I understand that a lot of you would probably have a lot of misconceptions about this industry, but I am telling you that like any other industry, pinaghihirapan namin lahat ng mga nakikita nyo sa tindahan. Okay? Mark Gonzalez is here. Sabi niya, nakahabol Sir Jason, good afternoon to you and sa mga ka-scripters natin. Maraming salamat at nakahabol ka, Mark. I did this live stream earlier today because I don't want that this live stream na sumagasa sa time slot later ni Tita Lavinia. Kasi alam ko naman na kapag nag-start tayo ng 8, hindi malayo na we have like an hour and 30 minutes na live stream discussion. So, I understand this is way off the schedule, but I do hope na meron kayong natutunan dito sa points na to and that you are as engaging as you are in this live stream. Okay, Jerry Colliantes says, baka na-hurt ego nila kasi mga alta sila, LOL. If that's the case, then they should be trending all what Pia wears or posts because it was sold out. Again, the ability to move merchandise is a potent na strength in the world of market influencers because that is something that hindi lahat kayang gawin. Okay? Yel Cabs says, well said po, ngayon na lang yung inclusivity kaya magot sa pageantry. I mean, we have to remember, there was a time where where mini-measure pa natin yung vital statistics ng mga candidates that the acceptable na measurement for pageant girls was the 36, 24, 36 na tawag ito na measurement. So I mean, pageantry came from a very exclusionary na background. So, we have to recognize that as well. Cyril Benavides says, ang hirap ata kahit mga top models hindi mabook pag Armani fashion show. When it comes to booking ng mga models, brands sometimes have relationships with some of the models for a long time, and sometimes inuulit-ulit nila yung mga yung mga models na ito. I remember in the 2000s, John Galliano, who was back then the head designer, the creative director for Christian Dior, Haute Couture, and Pret-a-Porter, would always book models like Amber Valletta. I forgot her name again. Oh my God. Amber Valletta. What's her name again? She's the model doon sa show ni siya yung model doon sa Japanese couture collection ni Galliano na naka-origami na wedding gown. Hopefully ma-remember ko siya later, but inuulit-ulit niya yung mga models na ito dahil they already have a relationship with him. Optimist Forevs says, akala ata nila ang luxury fashion is like pageantry na patalbogan at puro pasabog, where P.S. known for. Ang layo. And then Cyril Benavides says, mas tsumaka ang Prada since naging kasama ni Miuccia si Raf Simons. Kahit nung nasa Dior siya, hindi ko bet mga designs niya. Di bale, ang importante, hindi ko afford. Ha ha ha. But again, I think when no, it was Miu Miu pala, sorry. I think there was I just read a report several days back about Miu Miu being parang tumataas yung kanilang sales, if I'm not mistaken. It's not Prada kasi for those not in the know, Prada and Miu Miu are both brands under Miuccia Prada. Okay? Miu Miu kasi is yung nickname ni Prada when she was, a little kid. And then that's why she established yung Miu Miu because she felt that Miu Miu was more aligned to who she is as a designer as compared to Prada. With Prada kasi, Prada has this ugly pretty na aesthetic going on for that brand. So I know this is quite, fashion territory more than pageants, but I do hope for those that have interest, check them out later on. Okay, Don Oragon says, whatsoever did you say about the luxury brand that degrades and they don't want to wear by a Filipinos? Alam nyo naman siguro ang brand na yan. I cannot remember kung ano yung brand na yon, Don Oragon. So, there are a lot of brands that are very, very snooty. I remember there was this time where Sharon Cuneta and even Oprah Winfrey, were looked down by store staff in Louis Vuitton. So, unfortunately, yes, that happens. There is a certain type of gatekeeping, fashion gatekeeping that happens in luxury brands, unfortunately. And it happens in pageantry as well. Do you remember when, one MGI candidate, former Miss Iceland, was called, you're too fat. So, you need to lose weight, something like that. Na sinabi nung, that the owner of the pageant told to the former Miss Iceland. So, God, these things happens, unfortunately, in any industry, whether it's pageants or whether it's in fashion. Cyril Benavides says, iilan lang din ang Pinay na nakapag-work sa Milan at Paris Fashion Week. Hindi naman sila nagtagal dahil like Marga Esquivel and Hannah Locsin. Beyond the Scrub, sabi niya, nakaabot, sir. I do hope na you're able to replay na lang later yung mga points that you missed beyond the Scrubs, but thankful ako na nakahabol ka, nakapanood ka ngayong live stream natin. Yes, Shalom Harlow. Thank you, Cyril Benavides, for reminding me. It's Shalom Harlow. So Shalom Harlow and the likes of Amber Valletta, they are usually some of the models na madalas ginagamit ni John Galliano. I think they are one of John Galliano's favorites na mga models when it comes to his shows. Kira's Adventure said, "Thank you for sharing your knowledge in the industry. It's very educational and you explain it in simple terms that's easy to understand." Thank you very much as well, Kira's Adventure, for the compliment. I really am very glad that we had this conversation and we're able to discuss this in a mature and intelligent manner. And I do hope that moving forward, when we put out criticisms, you don't take it as assault or a slight against the people that you followed, people that you admire, because usually we come from a different perspective than most other vloggers. Based on our experience, based on our industry experience, our career development, we tend to look at it from a perspective that is detached from personal relationships with these people. We give very salient points. We give as much as possible perspectives that is not common or that is not very usual in the vlogging and the blogging na worlds, because we have industry experience that has shaped rather yung perspective namin. And usually when we discuss some of these points, it comes from a business marketing perspective, for example, that is not very common doon sa mga ibang mga vloggers. It's just so happened that we have different past experiences, and we bring that into the way that we blog and we talk about mga topics, mga issues and controversies, mga situations in our respective na mga channels and social media accounts. So I do hope na everyone is able to experience this with a open mind, itong live stream natin, because it really helps that we learn about the dynamics of fashion and luxury versus pageantry. Okay? So before we end, I do hope that you subscribe to my channel. Dun sa mga bago lang dito sa ating channel, hit a like doon sa ating like na button, because it will help us push our content to more audiences. And I do hope that moving forward, for those who are more interested with fashion, we will try to still cater to some of your requests, but our channel is primarily about pageants. So I will find a good balance when we talk about fashion and we talk about pageantry in this sphere, because I think lahat tayo kind of interested with fashion and with pageantry nowadays. Okay, so thank you very much for the support, for the attention that you have given in our live stream. I do hope that you can share this live stream to your friends on your social media para mas lumawak yung ating coverage, so that mas marami yung makaintindi, makaunawa doon sa mga points that I discussed when it comes to luxury markets, to influencer marketing and pageantry. So maraming salamat sa lahat, and I do hope na you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. See you again in our next live stream, and do take care. Bye everyone, and have a great day ahead. Oh, great evening, ahead. Okay? There.